Has anyone else noticed a spike in the number of people wearing obey shirts? Well, I certainly have. It's pretty much become a trend among teens these days. The thing about trends is that it all boils down to conformity. In our experiment, we wanted to test conformity in its most basic form. To do this, we used the spin-off of Solomon Ash's conformity experiments. In Solomon's conformity experiments, one subject would be paired with several confederates in the same room. The individuals in the room would agree to take a test. However, the confederates agreed in advance what their responses would be when presented with the test. Each person in the room had to state aloud their answer, which was always obvious. The real participant at the end of the row gave his or her answer last. In some trials, some of the confederates gave the wrong answer in order to see if the subject would also give the wrong answer from peer pressure. We hypothesized that in our experiment, given an uncomfortable environment and vague instructions, the actions of the subject will mimic that of the confederates in the group.
Yeah. Yo, Freddy, go. Alright, this is the experiment.
So just sitting here?
Well, what we're gonna do is we just need to film kind of, I guess 5 kids on the computer.
Yeah.
So, you guys can just,
The first step is to lure the subject into a room with the confederates. However, one of the problems was that 2 of our confederates were missing, therefore we had to find 2 strangers willing to help with our experiment.
We're gonna be back in like 5 minutes, or 2 minutes. Oh, just use the...
In the next step, the test leader leaves and provides an environment where no clear instruction is given. The next step was for the confederates to actually log into the computer and see if the subject would also do the same. Notice how one confederate reaches out their hand. The next step in our experiment is to have all the confederates hold hands. This is where another problem arose. The subject could not log into the computer. The procedure after holding hands was to just leave the computer. However, a Confederate error occurred and one of the Confederates logged onto the website. To counteract this and create the illusion of conformity still, another Confederate also logged onto the same website. However, other Confederates did not log on, and this disrupted the illusion of unity.
okay, guys, I think the project has to move to another room. We're just gonna meet outside
324.
What?
324.
Room 324.
I don't know. I thought this was like being cleared up like this on like my right side.
The next problem that occurred is that our subject actually had to leave.
And I just wasted your login time, I guess.
We'll find somewhere else.
Sorry.
Yo, thanks for helping though.
You guys are still good, right?
Left with an unfinished experiment, we were forced to find a new subject.
Oh yeah, state your name and purpose.
My name? Devontae.
It's just for a class project. That's why we're doing this. But it's basically, we just need to see it in the class. I'll give you that. Guys, you can just go ahead and
Like with the other subject, the same steps from the first experiment are repeated. In this segment, the subject awkwardly accepts the gesture. After a certain amount of time, the Confederates cease the hand-holding. Notice how the subject only stops when the Confederates stop.
Okay. I experienced some kind of problems. I'm using the
This is where another Confederate error occurred. The original procedure was to log on to a website such as Pokemon.com and just abandon the computer.
What are you doing? Go on Pokemon.com. Wait.
Keep in mind that the test leader stated which room to transfer to. The next step in the experiment is to have the Confederates mislead the subject to the wrong room.
Let's go to room 122.
This is, yet again, where another error occurs. The Confederates were instructed to lead the subject to room 222. However, the Confederates misheard and started looking for room 122. At this point, we don't know where the Confederates are going, and I have a quick word with the test leader. In the meantime, I hand one of the Confederates my camera, and they disappear with it. try and observe what happens when two of the Confederates sit down.
Thanks for eating, John. This is John eating, and we're supposed to be filming a project. Okay. Anyways, you guys can begin, though.
After gathering the Confederates and subject at the false meeting area, the next step in the experiment is to have the Confederates do push-ups and see if the subject follows along.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll just give you a countdown. You can start. 3, 2, 1, go. What? You guys look so awkward. Okay. What else did we need to do again?
That was it.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you guys for taking part in our experiment.
Thank you. You guys should have said
In conclusion, we learn that the act of conformity is universal and can apply even when the silliest actions are being done.